I never knew the actual path that God would take me down to say, okay, this is how I'm going to use you to help empower people to thrive. But now that I look back at it, it's like, wow, God really did answer that prayer.
Welcome to Streams of Income with self-help author Ryan Rieger.
Hey guys, welcome back to the Streams of Income radio show. I'm your host, Ryan Rieger. Before we jump into today's episode, I wanted to tell you about our Legends group. If you are looking to make money online, one of the easiest places to start is selling physical products. That's how Melaine and I got our start. We started selling furniture on Craigslist back in 2008, then moved to Amazon and eBay. We still sell on Amazon, but I love teaching people how to create income online. And again, one of the easiest places to begin with is physical products. And one of the best places is Amazon because all the eyeballs are already there. Now, our Legends group, there's way more than just Amazon, but we have a lot of Amazon sellers in there. And if you want to learn how to make money online selling physical products, love to have you try out our Legends group for $1. Just go to amzlegends.com/$, amzlegends.com/$. Today's episode, we're chatting with my friend, Giovanna Lady J. Ellison. Guys, she is amazing. I met her at Dan Miller's Coaching with Excellence event. She is a pastor's wife. She has a membership coaching program called Thrive 365. She is a one-on-one coach. She is doing amazing things online. I've learned a lot from her over the years. She has a podcast. If you are looking to create income online, create streams of income online, if you are looking to take what you know in your heart and share it with the world, you've got to listen to her, listen to this episode, follow her, because she is a model of how to do this. And I'm very impressed. She actually kind of started a little bit backwards, started with VIP days where she was doing live events before she had a coaching program. But you guys, it doesn't really matter where, just start with your people. Who's in front of you? Who is your audience? Start with them, serve them. And she is the poster child of how to serve people well and create an income from it. You're going to love this episode with Giovanna Ellison. We met at Dan Miller's. It was a Coaching with Excellence in 2015 or I think it was 16 actually.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe in oh gosh, I don't remember. I think we were already, I think it might even been early January 2017, but you spoke and I was just like, wow, you're the real deal and just following you ever since. And how'd you get hooked up with Dan?
Oh my gosh. It's a long story. And it's so funny because I remember it was the year 2014 and I had one of my best friends have passed away. She was only 42, got the cancer diagnosis in October, and she was gone just 2 months later, Ryan, on all days on Christmas Eve. And gosh. So I remember I was working my day job at the time as the director of our school. And I remember going to the sanctuary and just praying on my knees and saying, God, I need to help so many more people not die with their song still inside of them. Because Colette, her name was Colette, she would always talk to me about what she wanted to do and how she wanted to write a book one day, how she wanted to get married, how she wanted to do all these things. So long story short, I ended up on Dan's email list. And started listening to his podcast and he was talking about the event called Coaching with Excellence. And so I said, you know what? I love being able to help people find the song that's inside of them. And so I started reading all of his emails, listening to his shows, and I registered for Coaching with Excellence in April of 2014. And that was when I first met him.
Wow. And then you went through, did he have a coaching mastery program at the time?
He did. He had a coaching mastery program at the time. I signed up on the spot.
Yep.
I just knew. I knew this was the path. And, I believe God gives us that knowing. We can have a confirmation inside. And so that's what I felt. So I signed up there on the spot for coaching mastery and haven't looked back.
Yeah. That's awesome. I know I don't want to hear your story, but this is interesting too. There's so many people out there and there's a lot of Dan Millers. There's a lot of Ryan Riegers and Giovanna Ellison's people that are doing awesome work. How did you pick Dan? How do you know of the sea of all these people, Brendan Burchard and all these folks that are doing awesome things that man, I want to follow all of them, but you can't. You can't follow all of them. How do you pick one mentor or two mentors? And I know people go through seasons too, where you're following this guy for now, go through his stuff. Okay, now next year is this guy.
Right. Oh, that's such a great question. It really boils down to care. And I really felt like Dan has a great ability, and he doesn't just do this for me, but he does it for, I believe, everyone he encounters. But that is to make people feel seen, heard, and understood. And I remember when I first went to Coaching with Excellence, I just really felt that. I mean, he was like, "Wow, you had this VIP," because I had my first VIP day before I came to Coaching with Excellence. So I just jumped in full, with the whole coaching thing before I went to Coaching with Excellence. But yeah, I felt like our goals were aligned, our values were aligned. And so I believe it's so important that, as high achievers, that we are in alignment with whoever our mentors are. And of course, I learned from others as well. Sure. I've been to Brendan Burchard's conference, amazing as well. But I believe God gives us foundational people in our life. And so he was certainly one of those.
Absolutely. And for me, my story of meeting him is fascinating too, but that's for another episode. But tell me about you. How'd you get started in all of this, and a pastor's wife, and everything that you're doing? It blows my mind. You have a podcast, you've written books.
Yeah.
You got a membership site, a coaching membership program. So, but how'd you get there?
Yeah. It's interesting. You mentioned the pastor's wife bit. I remember, I moved from a little city called Los Angeles to just a little to Montgomery, the birthplace of the civil rights movement. Yep. And there's so much history here. And I knew that when I became a first lady, I didn't want to be the typical first lady. And I wanted to not just, encourage people, but see people take action from what they were taught and what they learned. So I prayed that prayer when I first moved here over 13 years ago.
Did you guys move there for the church, or what caused the move?
Yeah, no, great question. My husband was already here.
Okay.
So he was already here. He had all these churches already. Wow. And so, it was an already established ministry. And then I came in on this new, young, bushy-tailed bride coming in. And it was such a process. And I wrote a few books about it and did a few podcast episodes about it. And actually, the newest project I'm working on is called Thriving Through Transition. So anybody who's going through a significant period of transition, whether it's moving from one state to another, whether it's changing roles, identity roles, whatever it may be, whether it's in your business or your personal life. I've been through transition in several segments. And I think that God has given me something to share with people to help empower them as they go through transition. So it's just quite the journey. And I prayed that prayer over 13 years ago and haven't looked back. I never knew the actual path that God would take me down to say, okay, this is how I'm going to use you to help empower people to thrive. Did not see that full picture in the beginning, but now that I look back at it, it's like, wow, God really did answer that prayer.
Was it 2008 then?
It was 2008. That's exactly right.
Do you remember what month it was?
Ooh.
I moved to Texas in November of 2008. So you said over 13. Mine's been almost 13 that I've been here. So probably earlier in the year.
It had to be either June or July.
Okay.
Yeah, wow. June or July.
That's crazy. I moved from Indiana to Texas in 2008. We moved from California to Montgomery in 2008.
Oh my gosh.
That didn't mean anything. It's just interesting that we've had a transition, and my wife was already here. We weren't married at the time, but we had been dating for a few years before that. Got married in early 2009, but interesting. It's the same transition year for the both of us. So
that's amazing. No wonder we're so aligned.
That's right.
I love it.
Yeah. So what did it look like? So you're being a pastor's wife, then what was that process of like, hey, I'm going to have a VIP day now and I'm coaching people? How did that, how'd you make that transition?
I started teaching a little ladies Bible study. So, it's common in many churches, the first lady or the pastor's wife to do something significant with the women's ministry. So for me, I started teaching a Thursday ladies Bible study, still do it to this day. When the pandemic started, we moved it online. We usually had about 50 women come out on their lunch break at 12 noon.
Was that something you were excited about? Because you said it's like expected of a pastor's wife to do that. So I'm curious if there was like, well, I'm the pastor's wife, I need to do this. Or if it was like, no, I'm excited about this. I get to be in this role.
You know what? I was not dreading it.
That's
I
good.
was excited about it. I handled it more like, God, I thank you for this opportunity.
Yeah, that's
Like
good.
now give me how to handle this opportunity.
Yeah.
So yeah, I looked forward to it.
Yeah.
And it's so funny. So we averaged about 50 women came out on their lunch break
Wow.
pre-COVID. And then
Uh-huh.
once COVID started, we moved it online and we grew
Sure.
to about 700 women in the group online. So
Wow.
and we're still doing it
Yeah.
we do our Bible study, we do our prayers and teaching and all
Yeah.
that.
Are these all ladies in your church, or has it branched out to other ladies in other churches now?
It's branched out to other ladies in other churches.
Wow.
And even before, when we were doing it in person, I would always invite other
That's so
women
cool.
from other churches as well, not just limiting it just to one.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that was amazing just to be able to do that. So I started with a little ladies Bible study
Yeah.
and taught that, 13 years now, I've been consistent doing that ever since I moved here. And
Yeah.
I'm telling you, as I began to read books, as I began to learn, I was listening to podcasts like Entree Leadership,
Mhm.
Dan's, Michael Hyatt's, all these different
Yeah.
people that we know and love. And as I began to learn, I wanted to pour what I was learning into the ladies that I was teaching.
Mm-hmm.
And so I began to tell them, hey, this is what I'm picking up over here. This is what I'm learning. So I let them know, hey, those of you who want to know more about this side of business, of, living out a life and a business that you love, then, hey, I'm going to do a VIP day. And what the VIP day was, they came out, they were treated like VIPs. I'm a big believer in giving people the VIP treatment, especially your one-on-one clients, if you have one-on-one clients. And we had about 52 ladies come out that first
Wow.
day. And it just blossomed from there.
These were a warm audience. They obviously they knew you. And so that was an easy
Right.
sell for sure. What did that VIP day look like, and how can other people put that into their business?
Absolutely. So my first VIP day it was just an evening. It was a 4-hour event. So it wasn't a full day thing. It was a 4-hour event. We had it at a luxury hotel here in the city where they could get away from their, environment and just come feel pampered. We provided hors d'oeuvres and whatnot. And really what it was 4 hours of deep dive immersion into a single focus a single topic.
And you taught the whole time?
And I taught the whole time. I didn't bring in any guest speakers. I was teaching them the whole time. And now to market it, it's important that you do it to a warm audience. Mm-hmm. And I had flyers prepared. I still have that first flyer over there.
That's
in my file cabinet. And I said, okay, for you to come to this event, it's a $497 value, or $297, I can't remember.
Yeah.
And I talked it up really good, again, to a warm audience. And then I said, now for all of you that are here, get a pen out. Okay, you guys got your pen? Great. Now I want everybody to cross out the 2.
Awesome.
And for those that, so it became an immediate 97. And so, I gave them the deadline to sign up by and had a PayPal button. I mean, we were not anything fancy.
Yeah.
And it just blossomed from there. Now VIP days look very different.
Sure.
Where it's a full weekend immersion experience, and there's different topics. So it's an amazing thing.
Was that first event profitable with having to go to do the dinner and all that?
No, we broke even. Yeah,
that's okay though.
I definitely learned my lessons about what to invest in and what not to invest in. But it was a huge boost of confidence and profitability.
Sure. Did you have any expectation that there were going to be 52? Did you know if there was going to be, you have a certain number in mind?
I did not. It's so funny because I did not have, okay, I want to get this many people in the room. I did not have that. I just had a heart to serve.
Yes.
And that's where it came from. And I really believe that's one of the reasons why it was successful, because I had a heart to serve. But at this end, I also gave clear objectives and clear directions. So I let everybody know, okay, if you want to come to this event, you need to sign up by this date at this time. I even gave a time where they needed to sign up by. And here's the thing. It wasn't false scarcity. So, if I said that you need to sign up by Friday at 8 p.m., the doors closed, then the doors really did close at Friday at 8 p.m. And because I kept my word in honoring that, they took me serious. And when I had the next event, which we called a deep dive event, they're like, okay, I really need to get in and do this because I know that, I can't get the blue light backdoor special, if you will.
Yeah. So your very first thing, a paid thing, was a live event. right?
Yes,
Very
yes, it
first.
was.
Wow. That's
Mhm.
going like, typically we talk about, you're going to start you're going to have a lead magnet and you're going to do like a course and then maybe a membership community, live events like way later. But you did that at the very beginning. I love it.
Yeah, yeah. You know what? Shout out to Brian Dixon. He wrote a book called "Start with Your People,"
Yes.
and that book hadn't come out yet. But I really believe that's why I was able to start with the live event was
Yeah.
because I just started with my people.
Right.
And everybody's not going to have a ladies' Bible study audience. Everybody's not going to have a church audience or business audience. And so your path to building your people may look different than mine, but regardless, the principle remains the same.
Absolutely.
Start with your people, build that trust, because relationship precedes transaction.
Yes.
So many people love to just hop into buy this, click this, do this. And my goodness, for when I first started, so many of my emails were about that. And we can talk about that later. But yeah, when you start with your people, it makes the process of sales so much better because people have come to know, love, and trust you.
Yes, Brian's been a guest on the podcast too, and I need to get him back on because I think it was like right at start with your people was coming out, so it's been a little while.
Okay.
All right, so the VIP day, what was after that? What was the next business step for you?
It was called a deep dive VIP day.
Okay.
So kept it very simple.
Yeah.
So one of the things I learned, and of course, like I said, I was learning through this whole process, was that every event should be about the next event, whether that's an in-person thing or it's an online thing, whatever. So I offered a deep dive event. That one was a higher ticket point.
Did you sell that at the first VIP day?
Absolutely.
Okay, you already had that upsell in mind.
Absolutely.
Perfect.
Absolutely. And we had of the 52, 12 signed up at a $2,497 price point.
That's awesome. Wow. Now you're profitable.
Yes, exactly. Exactly. Now that was just one full day. That was an entire
Okay.
full day.
Wait. Okay. That's all. This is amazing because that's a big price point. How did you mentally were you listening to somebody? Had you met Dan by that point, or like I'm thinking, okay, you're a pastor's wife. You're so used to giving things out for free. The Bible study's free every single week. Free. Then you went to $97. Not too bad. That's not mentally not a big hurdle, but $24.97 is going to be a huge hurdle in a lot of people's minds. How'd you even have the guts to charge that much? Yeah. And even just be able to offer it for that much for.
I did not think about the pricing in terms of $2,497. I thought about it in terms of the transformation that I knew my clients would experience, because I wasn't dealing with this quote, they talk about imposter syndrome, but I was doing the work.
Yes.
So when you do the work, it builds the confidence. And so I knew that the transformation that they would get was worth that value. Now, keep this in mind, for those that signed up there, I did offer an early, not an early, but a prepay kind of thing. So if you signed up by this date, you'll save $500 off of the $2,497. But I think when it comes to pricing, so much of pricing has to deal with your belief in yourself.
Yes, it does.
Rather than what you think people would necessarily sign up and pay for. So again, it came from, people saying, I want more of this. Yes, I'm raising my hand, and just moving into that. Yes, I was listening to amazing coaches, trainers, and teachers, books galore. I was reading and studying people like Marshawn Evans Daniels, Suzanne Evans, Entre Leadership. So and just felt like, hey, you just got to do it. And at the end of the day, all you can get is a no. And sometimes you just have to get really good at collecting no's. So that you can finally get to the yes.
Yeah. Did you make people pay all at once, or was there a payment plan available?
Yeah, there was a payment plan available.
That's good.
There definitely was.
That's awesome. Well, that's just really, really fascinating to know that just go from, because I get so many ministers that are like, I don't know, they like even gulp at $97 because they're so used to just pouring out for free. But it is about that transformation, and it's not about, and if you were doing it yourself, you'll have that confidence. Wow. Okay. VIP day. Then you've got the what'd you call that $24.97 one? The deep dive.
That's deep dive VIP day. Yes.
Yeah. And what was that? And then when did you get into actually the one-on-one coaching?
Wow.
Or what, I guess what was in between the deep dive and what you're kind of doing now?
Well, let's see. I did do quite a bit of one-on-one coaching. And then also I started adding in my membership site because my time was just becoming, I valued my time. And when you've only got so many hours in the day to coach people one-on-one. So how can I serve one-to-many instead of just one-on-one? So I decided to start Maximum Potential Academy, which became my membership site, which we then took into my mastermind, which we then took into a program called Thrivers 365, which is very much like Maximum Potential Academy. So it just became, product stacking, if you will. Realizing that you can continue to serve people, but everybody's not going to be able to afford a $2,500 product. So it's so important for me, because I have a heart to serve and give, that I have a $49 product that someone who I believe in can invest in and say, hey, I may not be able to buy this thing over here, but I can get into your membership program for $49 a month. Or if you don't have that, you can listen to my free podcast. You can get my free newsletters. You can get all this other stuff that I offer for free. And hey, guess what? Even though I have my business over here, I'm still doing my Little Ladies Bible study. And that's for free. Right? Because it's so important that you continue to nurture that thing that helped get you where you are in the first place.
Absolutely. So you did the live events, and then you brought in the one-on-one coaching, and the membership came after that.
Yes.
That's usually flipped. Usually the memberships first, then we'll do some live event, then we'll do some coaching, then we'll do live events or somewhere like that. But you just started, like you said, you started with your people. They were, you already had those relationships built. I love talking about streams of income. So it sounds like are you still doing the live events? Probably not like last year.
Exactly. We had the most amazing Thrive Summit in 2019. So that was the live event. We had it here. Montgomery had speakers fly in from all over. It was an amazing live event. My mom, she was celebrating her 70th birthday party. She didn't know that I was going to surprise her with a surprise birthday party. And that, to me, was just the highlight of the whole conference, just being able to pour into her.
Did that beat surprising her with the car in San Diego?
You remember that?
Of course.
Yes. I think it was right along the same lines. She's still thanking me for that car to this day. Which Streams of Income, your book, which I gave to everybody at the Thrive Summit, you were so generous.
Happy to do it.
Everybody at the Thrive Summit got a copy of your book. And I remember in one of the segments, I said something like, because when you have multiple streams of income, you're able to do things like buy your mom a car, and because you're able to pour into those people that you really love. When you do work that you love. And so that book, I mean, it just really helped so many people, and I've been able to share it. I give it away and bless other people with it. So thank you for writing it.
You're so welcome. I love talking about streams of income, because you don't want to have just one. It's not, I don't think it's wise at all. So you got the live events, you've got one-on-one coaching, a mastermind group, a membership site. What else you got going on?
Oh my goodness. How about
your books are selling? There's 5.
Yes. 5. Wait. Oh, you're talking about, yes. So
I mean, if you break down all the books, all the little things, you probably got 25, but like, as far as the major categories of ways income are coming into you.
Right. And we've also got some things that we do just for sales. I love style and fashion. And so I do a little bit of that on the side as well, which is completely not business related. But to me, it's just fun and something that brings me joy in life. So I enjoy doing that. And with other streams of income. So it has been that, along with being in ministry. That's a whole nother element. But it's amazing.
It's really cool. And it's not like these are all under, like what Dan talks about. It's under one niche. It's not like, on Fridays you got a lemonade stand going on, and on Sunday you're making money, from the church as being in the ministry, and then you got one-on-one coaching. These are all under one umbrella of your brand. Other than maybe the fashion stuff that may be different, but they all go together. They feed each other, don't they?
They do. They do. And that makes it so much easier when one feeds into the other. And one of the things that, I remember when I first started out, I was doing so many different things.
Yeah.
Yes, they were all in alignment with the whole coaching, speaking, training model, but I had so many different programs, a deep dive immersion over here, an irresistible coaching program over here, this over here, that over here, that over here.
Yeah.
And I learned through experience and time that one of the best ways to be effective is to minimize.
Yes.
And to whittle down your offerings. While it's good to have multiple streams of income, it's also good not to have so many that you get lost in the whole shuffle of things. And so once I whittled down and said, okay, this is how many I want to have, and this is where I want to focus on, while they are all in alignment with the coaching space, it just made life a whole lot easier. And so everything is built around the word thrive. So, the Thrivers 365, the Thrivers Mastermind, and the Thrive Summit. So all those three speaking together.
Yeah. And so that just means that when you're on a podcast or you're speaking in public, you have one focus. You're not sending them to 50 different places. Go here, go here. It's like, just go here.
Exactly.
Yeah. I love it. Also, I love what you said too. And this is, as entrepreneurs, we see opportunity everywhere. And it can be so distracting, and because it's like, oh, I want to do what she's doing or he's doing. No, let's focus on what we're doing. You are good at saying no. Talk about that. How you're able to whittle down. Even I think I was listening to one of your episodes. You said, "What can I?" Somebody was it John Maxwell? I think you said at the end of the year he finds out what he can stop. Right. Like, what can I not take into the next year? Let's find things to take away from my business, not to add into my business. Talk about that a little bit and how that has helped you.
Oh, it has helped me so much, Ryan. Just the ability to say no, or even to say not right now. So there's a principle called the battle board that I have in my prayer room, or my war room, which is right over here. Yeah. And the battle board is really a huge calendar where I put the year and then the different months. And I say, okay, I may want to attend this event now, but because of what else is on my plate and what my focus is, that means it's a not right now. So what I do is I put it on the battle board and I say, okay, you know what? I'm going to project this out for 2024 or for 2025. And doing that has been a huge help, because it doesn't mean you can't do it. It just means not right now, or it just means not this year. Another thing that has really helped me in saying no is to really ask myself, is to go inside internally and ask myself, am I saying yes out of fear, or yes out of fear of letting someone down, or not wanting to, fear of missing out? Or am I saying yes out of love? And so when I ask myself, and just giving yourself a moment to pause, giving yourself a moment, realizing that everything doesn't need a response right away. If someone calls you up and asks if you can write a forward to this, if you can be on this, if you can do that, you know what? When do you absolutely need to know by? And usually the deadline that they give you, you can really add another 2 weeks to that, because usually people want, it's a convenient organizing system for them. But am I saying no out or am I saying yes out of fear, or am I saying yes out of love? And if I really go inside and answer that question, then I'll know, hey, you know what? That's a no for me right now. Or I know someone else who may be a better fit for this right now. Maybe I could say yes to this, but guess what? I decided to devote this weekend to self-care. Yes. And so one of the things that I have tried to use more often is, thank you so much for the invitation, but I already have a previous commitment. Yeah. And that's something that people can use, some language, some wording good. You know what? Thank you. I hope it goes exceptionally well for you, but I already have a previous commitment. You don't owe an explanation to anybody about what that commitment is. Right. That's up to you. But you know,
watching TV
or taking a bath, right? Whatever. Whatever it is for you, that's you, right. you know? And so
just maybe go onto your calendar, take a bath. Then you can say then you can say with honesty, like, yeah, I got a prior commitment on my schedule.
Right, exactly. Don't tell them to take
it. It didn't get on my schedule until after I got your email, but
that's hilarious. That's funny.
But that's a gracious response, Yeah.
Yes, yes, yes. It's a gracious response. And then too, realizing that, what God has for you is for you.
Yeah.
Sometimes I feel like we say yes to so many things because we're afraid that we may miss out.
Yeah.
And where he is telling us that my yoke is easy and
Yeah.
my burden is light. I don't want you running around trying to, do all the things,
Yeah.
just take my burden. My
Yeah.
burden is easy. My yoke is light. My burden is light. So that's really helped me along the way.
So good. I think we could talk for hours. I have all kinds of questions. I'm not going to get to all of them. I definitely want to get really, and we're looking at the time, and normally we go 30 to 45 minutes, and we're at like 30 now. But
Wow.
I could do several more episodes with you because all kinds of things running through my head of awesome questions. One thing that I truly want to know, because I feel like I know that you project that everything's, you have it all together and everything. I know that probably think life's not perfect for you, just like it's not for me. One thing I know people struggle with is, and kind of down the same line, focus. And so with today's world, we have emails. We're in the online business, so I'm sure you get all kinds of emails, Facebook messages, private messages, pinging you all different times. You're probably sitting there trying to focus on something, write your next book. Oh, a private message comes in or an email comes in. How do you do focused work? Because I feel like you're going to have a really good answer for this of shutting out all the distractions and focusing on what you need to focus on at that moment to move your business forward and shutting everything else off.
Oh my gosh. Yes. I love that you asked this question. I just use a very simple technique, and there's a specific app on my phone that I use. So I use two things. I use a timer.
Okay.
And then I use an app called Portal, and it's
Portal?
Portal.
Okay.
Absolutely stunning app.
Okay.
The designers actually reached out to me. I'm not an affiliate or anything like that, although I probably should be, but they have this gorgeous app, and they just really ask you, okay, what do you want to do in these next 20 minutes? Or and you can set the timer for however long you want. What do you want to do in these next moments? Do you want to focus? Do you want to escape? Or do you want to sleep? And so depending on, let's say if I say I want to focus, so let me turn this off. So what they do is they have all these different apps on, it will take you into different parts of the country. And so your entire phone just has that specific area of the country on it. So you hear all these beautiful sounds. I mean, and it's places that you would never probably travel to on your own, but it just takes you there and it puts you in a zone of just thinking. So that's a really great app for your focus. There's another one called Beatfulness that I like to use because I really believe the sounds and what we listen to have a significant impact on how we're.
What was the name of that one?
That one is called
Beakfulness, you said?
Beatfulness, yes, Beatfulness. And it gives a lot of different sounds as well.
Do you turn those apps on if you're just going to, do you have like just thinking sessions? Like, I'm going to sit for the next 20 minutes and think about my business. And because that's something that I think a lot of people do not do. I could do better at it. It's hard with a 4-year-old running around. And I work from home, and I wouldn't change anything about my situation. I definitely don't want to go to an office. I know that I could go somewhere and I probably should from time to time, but but yeah, do you have thinking time in your?
Absolutely. And I love that you call it that. I have thinking time. I call mine quiet sessions. And so, and I don't use any app for it. What I do is just have as much quiet noise around me as possible, as less noise around me as possible. And I'll just stare out the window. I'll just put my feet up and just stare out the window and think. And it's in that quiet time that I get the most amazing new ideas for business or the most amazing new ideas for family or what I want to do for my loved ones. Just having stillness and quiet and just staring out the window or even just going for a walk, whatever it may be. Because, having the assistance of apps and all this music is fine. But I believe there's such a beauty in quiet and stillness that we just, we've got so much noise in our heads right now already. So that thinking time, just turning everything off, all the techniques, all the little hacks, I just turn it all off and say, you know what, let me just have quiet and hear from heaven. And that helps me.
Yeah, because it's not just thinking. It's not because I don't want to just think in my own power. I can't do any of this without the Lord. And so
Amen.
it is,
Amen.
the idea is that I do my business, they come from him. And if they don't work. Or if they do work, it's just, then I'm doing it in my own power and my own strength.
Right.
I want his anointing on it. I want to be
Yes.
flowing in his grace, because then it's easy. You still have to work on it, but it's
Right.
almost like the wheels are greased a little bit with his help. So I want to be right in the center of his will. And I like how you said, where God guides, he guides, he provides, and where he directs, he protects. So
I heard my pastor say that when he did baby dedications,
mhm.
every time he did a baby dedication, he would pray. Presiding Bishop Emeritus Charles E. Blake, Charles E. Blake Sr., every time he would pray, he would always, at the end of his prayer, he would always say, and God, guide your hand on the life of this child so that where you guide, you provide, and that where you direct, you protect. And I was a single woman at the time when I was hearing all of that, hadn't been, not married, no children, anything. And I just remember saying, wow, what a blessing to speak over the life of a child and to speak over the life of an adult, that God will provide.
Yes.
God will provide.
Absolutely.
And when we just hold on to that, even in our business, yes, we have to take action steps. Yes, we have to do the work, but at the core, we need to know that he will provide.
Yes.
And I just hope that encourages somebody out there today who maybe you have some lack or sense of lack. God will provide for you as you continue to keep him first.
Absolutely. I would lean on John 16, where Jesus is talking about the Holy Spirit. In the Amplified, it says he's your comforter, counselor, strengthener, intercessor, standby. And I just envision the Holy Spirit with me in my business. He's my partner and he's the genius in the relationship. So let's just what do you want to do here? I don't know what to do. I don't even pretend to know. And half the time I don't know what I'm doing, but I just lean on him.
Yes. Just tell me where to write. Tell me what to type.
Exactly.
Oh my gosh.
And I can tell you pray over your email. So let's get to that and then we'll wrap up because I want to be respectful of your time.
Sure.
We could go into so much. But you in your seems like your journey over the last year or so seems to mirror a lot of mine. And I pray about every email that goes out. I probably should email my list more, but I am faithful. It goes out every Friday with my podcast episode. And then there's something at the top, kind of like how Dan used to do his. He'd have a message and then information, things he's promoting, quotes in the podcast. But mine have been more devotional in nature. And it's, like you, I'm not afraid to talk about my faith because it's all about him. I don't even pretend to tell people that this is all me. And so I tell people about that, but I will Lord, I need to write this email. Sometimes it's like 2 hours before I'm supposed to hit send. Like I have no idea what it's going to be in there, this email. And God, give me a message for my audience. And I know it's not for everybody. I get some unsubscribes, but it's unbelievable how many people write back. That's exactly what I needed to hear today. And that fuels me to just keep doing it this way. And sometimes they're totally business, but a lot of times they've been more injecting scripture into it just because that's who I am. But I really feel like God, it's so awesome to be able to be used of you in a way to reach people, especially people that may never even go into a church. My email may be the only thing they get of Jesus that whole week. So talk about you in your email that prompted me to reach out to you. You said relationship precedes transaction. You talked about your emails changing. What was that process?
I believe we all evolve and we grow. And with experience, hopefully comes wisdom. And for me, in my journey, I remember when I first started, I was so excited to tell my list about every new business opportunity, every exciting new podcast that came out, every exciting new book, webinar, conference, all this stuff, because I believed in that's one of my top strengths, and Strength Finder is learner. I love learning. It will always be a part of my life, learning and leading. And I just wanted to pour into them what God was pouring into me. Now, I am still doing that today, but I believe just at a deeper level, because when I say that relationship precedes transaction, I believe that we form and strengthen relationships based on or around in alignment with our core values. So if you know that, hey, I'm a fellow believer and I believe that where God guides, he provides, where he directs, he protects. That message is not going to be for everybody. I understand that, but it's going to be for the right people that God has for you. It's going to be for, quote, your audience. So the title of that particular email was My Emails Are Changing. And I'm okay with that. I'm okay with that. I'm okay with sending out an email about how God healed my mother's body of cancer just 5 years ago. Hallelujah.
Yes.
And we celebrated because I was there in the ICU when she was struggling for her life. And I saw the miracle. I saw the miracle. Yeah. And so I'm not going to downplay what God has done in my life just so that I can talk about all this business stuff over here. I believe that we have to blend our personal story with our business story. So while I still do very much business, of course, that's who I am. I would always be a part of who I am. Yeah. But at my core, I dedicated this business back to him and said, God, this is for your glory. Use me for your glory. Yeah. Use me for your glory. Yeah. And so, I got a lot of email responses back. And it's so funny when I sent that out, it was one of those 2-hour emails like you talk about, like, oh God, what am I going to type today? And I just said, let me just tell them what's on my heart. Yeah. And I sent that out and I got a lot of email responses back, but one of them really stuck with me and I saved it. I put it in my little encouragement file. I keep some of that stuff for when I need to go back and encourage and be encouraged. Yes. And this particular person said, and this email is exactly why I will always be your client.
Wow. That's awesome.
And so I was like, okay.
Wow. Do you know that person personally?
I do.
That's good.
I do. She's in another state,
That's wonderful.
We haven't met face to face, but she has been on my email list forever. And, she's a client and she said, this is why I will always be your client.
And you know what? That's cool about that too, is you don't need 50 million of those. Of course, it'd be nice to have 50 million people in your membership and all that, but you don't need 50 million ladies. I know you have men in your audience, me including me, but like you just need a few hundred to have a seriously awesome, profitable business, don't you?
Yes.
And there's 7 billion people in the world, guys. You don't need all 7 billion to have a business that allows you to stay home, be with your family like we get to do.
Yeah.
And you're coaching people one-on-one. So it's not like you have thousands of those. You can only do so many.
That's right.
But you have a thriving business.
That's right.
With a few. It's amazing.
We just got a thing from Kajabi about 7-figure. Congratulations to the 7-figure on the way to that. So if I can encourage anybody, it is that just like you said, Ryan, you don't need everything. You don't need all the things. You just need the right things that God has for you. And then that can absolutely thrive. And like I said, in my groups, while they may be small in number, they are powerful and mighty in number. And I really do believe that, I call them my VIPs because, and of course I have thousands on my email list, so that's different, but in these groups are different. And I like to keep them small at this time in my business because it allows me to really go deeper with each person.
Yes.
So that business model may be different for everybody. What may work for me may be different for you, but you have to do you have to do what God is calling you to do.
Oh, that's so good. All right. How can people find you? Where's the best place to send them to learn all about what you're doing and your membership and everything?
Awesome. Really easy. It's Jevannah.com. So just JEV like victory, ONNAH.com.
Hey, Ryan Rieger here. If you're looking for proven real strategies for making money online, then grab my book, Streams of Income. In it, I detail the 3 main ways to make money online. And these are strategies that students of mine all over the world are using to make real money. And the best part is these are strategies that you can get started with $0 and 0 experience. So if you'd like a free copy of my book, Streams of Income, check out the link in the description below.